here's the problem that we have with our cervical spine, which is our head floats in space, right? So our neck is what supports our head, and it gets no feedback all day. The reason why I say that, like, if you think of your feet are on the ground all day, so it's constantly sending information back up to the brain of how it feels, where's the pressure, where are you bearing weight, so on and so forth. Your neck gets none of that, unless you're staring at a mirror all day, which none of us have time to do. To top that all off, which we can get into, but like with so many people working at computers nowadays, what do we all do? You know, we protrude the chin and start to lean forward. After a while, what begins to happen is that your brain begins to think, this is how Geoff wants me to hold his head. We think that now that's normal. That's called neuroplasticity, right? The idea that like we're building these pathways of accepting that like this is how I should be. But sorry, I'll get back to the proprioception. So because our head is floating in space all day, the only way to give feedback to it, and by the way, so proprioception is understanding where someone's body is in space. Does that kind of make sense? So it's like global proprioception, but then there's specific proprioception for specific ligaments, right? So like we talked about that ankle sprain ligament, right? So that has its own proprioception on a micro level scale. You have ligaments all the way, you know, going up and down your spine, and they help manage the relationship and how it all moves synergistically, but also understanding where its placement is. And so again, throughout our day, right, we're beginning to lose that because of our posture, where we sit, texting, so on and so forth. So how do you do the proprioception? Is all you need is just some feedback. So you can do something like take your hand and do a little bit of rolling and unrolling. But the best way, and this is the way that Guy Voyer taught, it's not my technique, but is you actually get yourself on the ground. So if you were to picture somebody who's going to start a headstand, that's the positioning. So you find the center of the top of your head
in contact with the ground.
Exactly.
But supported by your palms, basically.
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, I mean, kneeling stance. I'm not in a handstand.
Totally.
Right? And you dissipate as much pressure as you want with your hands. And what you do is you just start going through the movements of the cervical spine. So you'd go through flexion, right?
That's like rolling back and forth.
Exactly. You'd go through side bending, and then you'd go through pure rotation.
A side bending is more like chin to shoulder, right?
Side bending is pure like getting your ear down your shoulder. So like like this is torsion, which.
And so you're saying it's right? I think the really important thing here for anyone, if like, you know, disclaimer, don't try this unless your doctor tells you to. If you do try it, the hand support is very important, especially for someone who's never done this. Like if you're on your knees and your hands, let the hands take 99% of the weight, and then your head and neck very little. Obviously, if you're like a collegiate wrestler, these guys are going to do it in a tripod position with no hands to build the neck strength. But the goal in this instance is not neck strength, but it's proprioception of your head as a unit, and the attachment either at the floor or the hand. And obviously starting with your hand is better than the floor, but it's that pressure down that gives your head a unique experience that it's not getting when it's out in space.
Correct. It's
connects to what's happening in your cervical spine. And so this actually teaches your brain the extension of the ranges that it has in every direction.
Yes. Yeah. So basically that ground or that hand is going to act as a feedback mechanism.
Gotcha.
So those ligaments will start to understand, this is what I can do. This is what I'm capable of. And this is my tension, right? That's it.
That's an important part.
And I go back, right? And with that, so not only are you getting like information with those ligaments, but you're also getting a huge demand of blood flow. Because that's the other thing, like so many times, like when we're stressed, right, we just get stiff. It's this chain reaction with pain. Well, okay, I'll move less, right? When it's actually because it's promoting movement. What happens when you work out, right? You're increasing circulation. So you're increasing circulation to those muscles in the neck as well.